this is Raven Lenore. We would like to dedicate this episode to a very dear friend of mine and a really huge fan and supporter of the show, Marianne Wade, who passed away last year. She is one of our biggest supporters. She was an absolutely wonderful human being, and we really appreciate her. Miss you very much, Marianne. Godspeed, dear.
Hey everybody, you may remember me as Mr. Cheeseball, Scary Jerry, or that weird guy having a seizure at a convention. Or you may have seen me interview people at conventions. So, wanted to make this is a documentary type thing. If you've watched my channel, you'll know my weight has fluctuated quite a bit. Currently, I'm back on a weight loss journey to get back down to not where I was, because at one point I was 150 some pounds. That's a bit too light for me, but lower my weight. That's not what this is about, though. This is about how my show came about. So, I started out in theater at my college. I was a theater major, didn't get cast in anything. They didn't want to cast me due to my seizures. I was told that by numerous people. But they couldn't. Technically, I was told that, I was told they wouldn't cast me by people that weren't casting the shows, if that makes sense, due to my seizures. The seizures were caused by stress. So if you ever saw me having a seizure at a convention or anything like that, they were stress related. I switched majors after not getting anywhere in theater to do broadcasting, specifically radio broadcasting. And I ended up being on the radio, and I had interviewed people involved with the Wrestling Society X wrestling promotion. Ryan Katz, who's currently on the Oh You Didn't Know podcast, which is a podcast I highly would recommend. I'll put a link to it on YouTube. He went by Fabian Kalin in WSX. He was GQ Money in XPW. Hardcore Angel, who was on XPW as well, and he was the stunt coordinator for WSX. He did my radio show, and that got me comfortable doing interviews. And then I went on to do Johnny Fairplay from Survivor. I went on to interview R.D. Reynolds and Blade Braxton. May Blade rest in peace. He passed away a few years back. So it built up my confidence to interview people. I then turned around and went to my first horror convention because Bruce Campbell was going to be there. I dressed as Ash. At the time, I was pushing around 200 pounds, and I had this tiny chainsaw arm, a shirt I picked up from Goodwill, and terrible brown pants. This other guy did an amazing job, and Bruce Campbell, I'll never forget, said, "What's the difference between the two of you? Attention span?" and stuff like that. His typical Bruce Campbell shtick. And he goes, "What caused you to do it right?" to the guy who dressed fairly accurate to Ash, and what caused Senor Cheeseball over here to do it wrong? Well, that gave me an idea. At that convention, I went around and I had a mini disc recorder, either at that one or the next one. I don't 100% remember, because I went twice, they blur together. But the Senor Cheeseball gave me an idea. So the next year I went to a convention, and I was told if I'm going, take a mini disc recorder. So it was the next year. Take a mini disc recorder. So I went over, and one of the reasons I went was to go see the movie Bloodsucker Jones, and I became good friends with director Justin Armeo and his producer Andy Cable, who also wears amazing Hawaiian shirts throughout the film. To the point, at a convention a few years ago, I actually dressed as Andy's character from Bloodsucker Jones, and Justin thought it was pretty funny. So, got to interview people at that convention, put them on air, and then I happened to have the cinema snob Brad Jones coming in studio. And as I was talking with him, he goes, well, have you thought about doing video? And at the time, Blip TV was the actual, was going on instead of YouTube. So I go, no. He goes, try it. Because at the time, podcasts weren't really that big yet. They were there, but they weren't as prevalent as they are now. So I thought about it. I started up a Blip channel. And then I go, well, I don't know what to put on here. So the movies I saw at that convention, I did reviews of and got people in the orbit of the Cinema Snob at that time. So you'll see like Jared Foyles pop up for a little bit. You'll see, you'd see other people I had made contacts and friends with pop up in a lot of the first videos I ever did. Then I go, oh, well, these things tend to go better when it's like Siskel and Ebert or when you have somebody to bounce stuff off of. So that's when I met Adalynne. How did you get started with the show? Other than me harassing you for
You messaged me on Facebook, I know that, because you said that you were wanting to have somebody to bounce ideas and bounce dialogue off of. And I went, yeah, why not? I love trauma films, and that was Return to Nukem High?
Wasn't
Class of Nukem High.
Our first one was the Rocky Horror Picture Show.
Mm-mm.
Oh, it wasn't?
No, it wasn't.
Because
it was the one with where Coach Sandusky showed up for the first time.
that was Return to Nukem High.
Yes, and I remember because I was like, Stan Lee's in this, doing Stan Lee stuff.
Yeah.
Stan Lee
You know
doing
what?
the Stan Lee before Stan Lee did the Stan Lee.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what I think it was? I think what happened is we did Rocky Horror first. Because
We filmed it right after.
we filmed it right after. Oh, we did.
And we did
You're
the
right.
editing backwards, though, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, I think you're right. Yeah, I think you're right.
I know it was so quick,
Yeah.
those two, just because time with work that I had.
Yeah.
And it was a time crunch. So you had done the script.
Yep.
And you just needed somebody
to
do the script.
So with that one, it was very, very interesting. From what I remember, it's been 10 years, folks. It's like, my memory is
It's
kind
okay,
of...
Cheesy, I'll remember for you.
Thank you. It's been 10 years, and the thing that gets me is that I'll remember stuff like that. Like, I remember some of the jokes. I remember the Cool Whip gag that we had.
And I'm like...
And she is so I'm a terrible person. She's diabetic, and we gave her whipped cream. Now, to bring this around, Cinder, who you just saw an interview of, is lactose intolerant, and we did a whipped cream gag with her.
Okay. Was it the coconut stuff, though?
No, because I didn't realize she was lactose intolerant until after she had the cream coming out of her mouth, and she went, yeah, I'm lactose intolerant, so I can't swallow, which made the gag even funnier. So that's,
oh my God.
That's how it began.
Wow.
And from there, we went on to, I think, do very well as a duo, where we would write scripts.
Oh, yeah.
You would help me edit, and you would also be a performer.
Oh, yeah.
Which was a lot of fun.
And a lot of work.
And that is why we went from just Adalynne to adding Adalynne, Cinder, Violet, and I can't remember her name now. I'm just going to say Christy, because... Raven as well.
Raven
as well.
Yes.
Raven as well. Christy, she was on for a show or two, but she was from... it's on its way to Peoria. There's a taco place. Pekin. She was from...
Yes.
I just revealed where she's not there anymore. So she was from that area.
Yeah.
From a town about an hour or two away, so she couldn't make it that much.
Hour and a half to about an hour 45 minutes, I think.
So she couldn't make it that much. And then you had Violet, who I will not go into detail other than say there was some personal things that happened.
Yeah.
But we brought them on to kind of relieve Adalynne of some of her work.
Especially when working full-time.
Yeah. She was working.
This full-time kind of...
And college. When you first started, we were both in college.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
Holy crap, buttons.
Right?
Am I allowed to swear?
Yeah, you
Okay.
you can.
Holy shit.
Yeah, you can swear because we're not monetized.
Oh,
Which,
okay. I didn't know if you two be like, no.
We're not monetized anyway. So to bring you to speed.
You two, what the hell have you been doing with yourself?
To bring people up to speed and why some of our
product placement now.
Yeah.
High V Diet Coke. It's the best.
So
which I ran on for the entire Adalynne parts of the show. Yeah.
So for some of the other things that pop into my mind about it, we ended up where we knew each other from college. And I told Cinder that her and I became very close after it. Same with Raven.
Oh, yeah.
You and I became close. But I would like to point out, we became close in a different way because we worked to get... I'm going to call it work. Yeah. I didn't want to at the time because it scared the shit out of her. Whenever I would call it work, she would clam up and disappear.
Just the idea of trying to make this a job just kind of was like working full-time in the job that I had.
Right.
A lot of just in the medical field and it just being like, oh no, I don't want it to relate to that.
Right.
And it would just panic me.
And so, with us working together, our relationship became brother and sister.
Yeah.
And we fought like brothers and sisters. I 100% will admit it. I will admit some of it was my fault.
Yeah, and some of it was me too.
Right.
And I'm bad at communicating when I'm having a clam up moment. So. And you're bad at communicating too when you're stressed out.
When I'm stressed out, I'm bad at communicating. But I would have the outlet that was Facebook. Folks, don't do this. Don't go on Facebook and post, I'm so mad, I'm not naming this person's name, but I know they'll see it. And then that'll just make things worse and piss them off. Something I had to learn in my 10 years.
And I had to learn to communicate with you.
Yes.
It's like a brother and sister. We're not related,
we're
are
not
we?
Related, no. No, it really is like a brother-sister relationship. But I will admit things got... Once we added more people, things took a turn for the good for you. Things took a turn for good for me. And then we started losing those people.
Oh, gosh, yes.
Because in a row, we lost Christy, we lost Violet, and Raven could never show up all that much.
Yeah.
Cinder ended up not only going to school, doing a job, she had a kid during the course of the show.
Yes, that's right.
So it's like, oh no. And then she was getting really stressed due to personal stuff, work-related stuff as well, which threw me into stress. So after trying to get in contact with anybody for one of the episodes, I can't remember if it was you, or a number of them said, why don't you try it on your own? And I always resisted it.
Yeah.
I always hated it because I'm like, nobody wants it for me. They want the pretty women. And as you can see, I'm not pretty and or a woman.
Then again, at the same time, I never actually talked about it, but you actually come up with great ideas.
Oh, thank you.
Yes.
I never
You
knew
know
that.
how many times, and also you're ad-libbing.
Thank you.
How many times we'd be doing on script and you would ad-lib something and I'm like, we're fucking keeping that.
That's right.
And if you did a scriptless, which is what you did after I left the show, was you went scriptless. And it's
scriptless.
It worked.
Yeah.
It worked really well.
Now, the thing that I absolutely loved was doing it scriptless is how it probably should have been, but we had to evolve. And once you said do it on your own, I did an episode on my own, and it did fairly well.
Yeah.
And it gave me the confidence to go, wait, this is the way to go. So we moved forward that way. And it made it a lot more fun. Cuts the time down immensely.
Oh, Jesus Christ. When I first started script writing, I was basing everything off of Channel Awesome. Every 5 seconds we're doing a freaking cut. 45-minute videos.
So not just that, it was Channel Awesome was a really big influence. The Cinema Snob at that time was a big influence on me. What happened was I realized you can't stay in your lane unless you are those people.
That's true.
You need to evolve.
Yes.
So,
unless you have the big brand built up, it's not going to work.
Right.
And I know that was one of the things was just like the 8-hour almost days we'd be spending editing. Just editing. Not just filming. Editing. And then another day just writing the script. And then filming. And so 3 days out of the week, I'm running. I've got 2 jobs.
Yeah, she has 2 jobs.
And I'm sure it was stressful for you too.
It was stressful for me. The one I will never forget. Red Dead 2.
I love
Dead
that
Snow
one.
2. Red Dead
that
2.
was so much fun. Red versus Dead.
Red vs. Dead, the movie was fun. Do you remember the 8 hours of script? Because what happened is, I don't remember what was going on, but you were, like, not there. You were there, but you weren't there, because we would have the internet, and all it'd take is it'd be like, that guy's wearing this thing. Let's look up. No, you don't.
I kept jumping down random Wikipedia rabbit holes. I was very squirreled that day. Oh my gosh, I remember that. It was painful to write that script, but it was so much fun to film. Oh my gosh. And the movie was so much fun.
The movie was fun.
And I think, too, I was still in that mindset of trying to make it like Channel Awesome. And it took me a while to actually get out of that mindset, just thinking, well, that they made it, we have to do it this way. Right. No, we need to evolve.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And to bring it back to something that viewers on YouTube may not know, we started on Blip.
Oh, yeah.
And Blip TV, we got views. We got, like, a couple thousand.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Blip shut down and we switched to YouTube. We got a couple of hundred.
Oh, yeah.
Now it's down to a couple. I thank my patrons 100%. We love you guys. But,
definitely.
But it dropped down.
Thank you for staying here.
Thank you for staying here. But some of the ones that... do you have a favorite episode? That's going to be the next one.
It was
Red
versus Dead. Just, we hit a good stride.
We hit a good stride.
Yes. The first one was actually really good that we did.
Yeah.
And then there's also, when we did the August Underground episode.
Oh, God.
That was the funniest. Your intro, when I come in and just slap you, I'm like, what are you doing? That one, every time I see that or even think about that scene, I'm like, I was covered in grease paint at the end. I had to go get that outfit dry cleaned, and they're like, this shit ain't coming out. I'm like, well, that's okay, because I gained 10 pounds, and I can't wear it anyways. Goodwill.
I barely remember August Underground, just because that film is the only one the entire time I've done the show.
Watched all the way through. Yeah.
Well, no. That I never wanted to finish. Most of them, I will briefly admit, since this is a documentary, toward the later end, I would pop it in for like 15, 20 minutes and then jump to the end, because I didn't want to sit there and watch an entire movie by myself and have nobody to bounce anything off of and write a script. So one of them, I think you were supposed to appear in, which turned out to be the funniest damn episode for me.
Really?
Was a Christmas episode.
Okay.
It might have been...
Was that the Christmas I got super sick right before COVID hit?
No.
Like 2019?
No, this would have been like 2017, 2018.
Oh, okay. All right.
Because it was one Christmas episode where I was sick, but I said I will get an episode out, and I'm wearing this cat suit and Christmas lights, and I'm sitting there, and I'm going, and then this happened, and like right as soon as I ended, because I was on like some cold medicine.
Oh goodness.
Right as soon as I said the final line, I legit passed out.
The NyQuil episode.
The NyQuil episode. I legit passed out. That's one of the funniest memories I have of it. But
just that whole scene where we were in the park.
Oh,
running around with all the zombies at the end of Red versus Dead.
Red versus Dead.
Yes.
I remember that now. When I actually didn't look too bad in that outfit. And what's weird is I thought I didn't look too bad. That started a weight loss journey for me. In 2019, I was down to 163 pounds.
And then the plague.
And then COVID hit.
And then ye old plague hit.
And then I realized I'd rather be... Oh, shit. That's so awesome.
We have pitched the yellow jacket outside onto a dandelion.
Dandelion.
A fluffy dandelion.
So, before the yellow jacket, we were discussing favorite episodes, I believe.
Yes.
And then
doing Red versus Dead and talking about... I think that entire scene was ad-libbed, wasn't it?
Yep.
Yeah.
Now,
that entire scene with the entire group of
zombies.
friends dressed up as zombies was entirely ad-libbed.
Now...
Because I had no idea what I was going to do for my transformation.
Oh, that's right.
All I knew is I was going to wear that ridiculous 80s
prom dress. So, the other one that comes to my mind for a favorite episode, it was one of the sleepaway camps, where we were at the community theater.
It was the first one.
Was that the first one?
It was the first one.
It was the first one, and
because we're both stuck in the freaking sleeping bag together.
Yeah.
Yes.
That one was good. I think that was that one or the second one that has my favorite joke we ever did, where the person is hanging on, and this is when we were trying to be like Channel Awesome, but it was when they were hanging on to a ledge, and we played the Invoke song, Don't Let Go.
It was this one.
Oh, yeah, it was two.
Yeah, it was that one.
So,
because Sleepaway Camp was when we were at the theater.
This was Slumber Party Massacre too.
Yes.
Yeah.
Slumber Party Massacre was like, don't let go.
Go. Yeah, that
don't
was
let go.
Yeah, that was the that was my favorite joke.
Because you added that one in, and I didn't realize you had, and then I was like, you're losing it. I'm like, I don't remember that being in there, but it was really good.
Yeah, I did that one while editing myself. Mm-hmm. I do admit...
The driller killer in my head?
Yeah.
That was my favorite part of that. Just that whole rant I go on. And you said something about, like... You made, like, just some ridiculous, off-the-wall, just off-color joke. And I'm like... Because it was a random ad-lib, too. And it just my reaction in character. And it just... just one of those setups and deliveries that just worked.
And all the groping that happened.
Oh, all cheerleaders die.
All cheerleaders die.
That one was a fun one to do. Oh my gosh.
I don't remember that one. I do remember one of the other Slumber Party Massacres where you got to make me over.
Yes. Oh my gosh, yes, that one. And then at the end I was like, and now we get to whore you out on the street.
Oh yeah.
And I put curlers in curlers in your hair and everything. Oh my gosh.
And yeah, that one was fun. Mm-hmm. All of them were fun, especially having someone like you that I could bounce stuff off of, but also somebody that would know how to kind of go with it.
Yeah.
Because she is a very quick learner. I don't know if I ever told you this, but she very quickly learned that if I ad-libbed, how in character she could come back and ad-lib.
Oh yeah.
And or
when I would randomly lick your face.
That's where I was going. The one where she licked my face as we were supposed to be kissing while my wife is filming.
That is how we French kiss.
When she did that, I lost it and turned 80 shades of red.
Oh yeah. I was like, I'm going to do this. Do you think it would work? She's like, do it. It's a big part of the show too. Just being able to bounce ideas. I'm like, I have an idea. And her being like, how would Jerry react to that? Yes, no, would he break character?
Right.
You know. That was, oh goodness, that was the first one that I wrote for.
Yes, it was.
That was Reefer Madness, the musical.
Yes. That was
the number of costume changes I had in that one was ridiculous.
That one was... I like the episode. The behind the scenes on that was just... It was a lot. It was a lot.
It was a lot, but we had fun.
We did. We had fun. All of them, I think we had
just
fun.
Like, you licked my face and still mad about it.
All of them, I'd say we had fun on. Mm-hmm. I want to say toward the end, especially with you being on the show, I think I could tell it was like you didn't want to really be on it because how big of a time commitment it was.
Yeah, and I think just with my job at the time.
Yeah, in your job at the time.
With how much more I was working.
Yes.
Because instead of doing 55 hours a pay period, I was doing 72, almost 80 hours.
Almost 80. And
in a medical field, like helping people with disabilities, it was just
a
lot.
And
just a lot.
And okay.
Just trying to be like, now I have to have time set aside to do all this. It just really didn't feel like I had time to go home and eat or go home and do.
Oh, there were some nights she brought food to the place. To go with that, I'm sure it was hard looking back because at the time when you wouldn't show up,
it was stressing me out.
It was stressing me out.
Which stressed me out because I knew I was stressing you out.
But on the other hand, she goes from a job of working with mentally disabled people to come shoot with someone that is technically mentally disabled. Because I do have autism.
I didn't think of it like that. But...
And I'm sure that didn't help matters because, I don't always need to have someone there for me. Mm-hmm. There were times where, yes, and I'm still one of those people, I really do not like being alone.
Oh, yeah.
But I think with all of that hours, and then with me going,
we need you now, because I didn't have that confidence instilled in me yet.
Yeah.
When you finally instilled that confidence in me, it made it a lot easier. So I would like to think that we helped each other a little bit in that way.
Oh yeah.
So.
Oh yeah. And even though never got to like come back and do that Bloodsucker Jones review with you.
No, you didn't. I wanted her to be here for that so bad.
I know.
But
then again, that was during a really crazy time.
Yeah, it was.
I think I was moving around that time, wasn't I?
you were moving? Were you moving? I can't remember if you were moving or if you were in transition to jobs, but
there was something going on during that time too.
Yeah.
I remember that. I was either moving or it was a job switch I was
yeah,
doing.
It was very
Chaotic.
very chaotic. Almost the review, the Elvira's Haunted Hills review, almost didn't come out due to a shit ton of things.
Oh gosh.
So like it started out with me getting the flu, and then she got the vid, and then I ended up with something on the back of my neck.
And it turned out to be ringworm.
It turned out to be ringworm, which
I'm highly susceptible to. And it was like, well, crap.
Yeah. So we finally got that done.
And we both actually wanted to do this.
We did.
And we both had planned it.
We planned it, yeah.
And then it just went to hell in a
Hell in a
handbasket, down a green slide.
Yeah. Now that part's done, what have you been up to since you've been away?
Working. Working and a lot of sewing.
Yeah.
Doing historical fashion, predominantly, is like my little thing that I like to do on the side, and keeping my hands busy because I realize like I'm very twitchy. I don't know if you've noticed, I'm probably picking on my hands and cuticles this entire time we've been doing this. Yeah.
I haven't really noticed.
But doing that, taking care of 3 cats.
Yep.
And trying to make it through each day.
Trying to make it through each day.
Doing a lot better.
Yes.
With making it through each day, which is good. And then watching your show
whenever
it comes out.
I appreciate that. And
it's like usually like 2 or 3 weeks after you put it up, but I'll just be like, put this on in the background while I'm sewing or knitting or doing something, and it's like, you're still doing good. Still doing good.
So, the final thing is would you come, do you have, well, a question I haven't asked anybody because they haven't been on as long. Do you have any regrets? Getting to know me, for one.
No. Regrets. Maybe just wishing we could have refilmed things a little, filmed other things better, and also just wishing we were better at communicating.
Yeah, I will.
We got better. We got a lot better after I was off of the show too.
Yeah.
I noticed that. And it's like if we had had that at the beginning, I think I would have been on the show longer.
Yeah.
And been able to help you out. But at the same time, the way the show progressed and it evolved, it's still good.
Thank you.
And I still like it, and I still smile and giggle every now and again when I'm watching an episode. So
I think.
Yes, I'm one of those people who will go back and watch episodes that we did together.
I do too, every
Which
once
is
in a while.
weird because usually most people on YouTube go
and
cringe, but at the same time it's like, no, these actually weren't that
bad. One of the bigger regrets I have is I wish I would have gone scriptless earlier so you wouldn't have burned out. Because I'm pretty sure it burned her out and
it mentally just drained.
Mentally drained her.
Yeah.
And I will 100% admit that not long after she left, I sat there and went, fuck.
You're tired of writing scripts.
I was tired of writing scripts.
Yeah.
The editing, not so much. And even my editing now, without a script, there's no bits. So there's not really anything to edit in. Just make it tighter. So editing takes like 2 hours as opposed to the 8 hours. And the 2 hours includes like the main edit of whatever video and the rendering.
Okay. Wow.
Yeah.
You've got it streamlined now.
Pretty much.
That's always nice.
So, but that's one of the only regrets I have. The communication as well.
Oh, yeah. And now that we're communicating better, you know,
and
it's a lot easier to get me here.
Yes, I was going to say.
Despite all the freaking
issues with this one.
COVID.
Yeah, I will admit if...
That was frustrating, too.
It was frustrating.
Oh, my gosh. I'm sick. Now you're sick.
You're sick.
Now
Now
I'm
she's sick.
And now you've got a thing that I can catch.
Right.
And oh, my God.
And
I'm here.
She's here. She did it. She made
And
it.
it wasn't because I was freaking out.
I know. And that's the, I'll
It's
say that on camera.
the ironic as heck thing, too, is trying to get, I was like gung-ho, wanted to show up, and shit.
And so I asked a similar thing. Would you show back up if we were to come up with an unscripted review if you had time?
Yeah, definitely.
Sweet.
This unscripted thing works a lot better.
Yeah, right?
And I feel like we're just bouncing, jokes and
Jokes
stuff.
and stuff, yeah.
It's more relaxed. It's more of a...
Less stressful.
Yes. Less stressful and less of having to put on a character feel.
Right.
Like, Adalynne is always so happy
Oh,
and bubbly and just a little sleazy. But after doing that character and doing that character for an 8-hour filming session, you're just...
Well, it wasn't an 8-hour filming session. Some behind the scenes that we kind of touched on.
Well, more of like trying to put myself
8-hour
into that
day.
character for an 8-hour day.
Well,
to
give behind the scenes on that, we would watch a movie, pause, and write jokes, continue the movie, and then we go, okay, maybe we should run the movie and then write jokes without pausing it. And then it just turned into, okay, we have a bunch of notes.
Yeah.
We probably missed part of the film.
Oh, yeah.
And it's just like, okay, by the time that was done, now you film it.
Oh, yeah.
And I wasn't comfortable enough with setting up the camera. I'm still not 100% comfortable with this. My wife is the one who set this up. So the way it is like that. But I feel like this is how...
Less draining.
Less draining.
Yes.
And it's two friends bouncing things off each other. It's not her putting my hand on her chest or smacking me in the face with her boobs, which, while funny, or like flashing. And I think that that's what I was focused on when we were working very closely with
How can we work all these gags into it and make it flow, and just that stress of it.
Yeah, the stress of it. And then the stress of, will whoever she's dating, engaged to, whatever, will they squash me like a bug because it's a character, but yet it's going up online, and will my wife kill me because she's the one filming?
Then again, usually I'd be like, hey, this is going to happen, and she'd be like, okay.
As long as one of us told her about it, she was usually fine with things.
Oh, yeah.
So.
And I don't think we ever went way too ridiculous.
No.
Oh, yeah, a lot of people gave you crap for the one where I had the trauma.
The I Heart Nukem High.
Yeah. Funny thing was, I was wearing pasties the entire time. And then we taped it on. I did not let him rubber cement it on.
No.
Just so you know, no tits were harmed in the making of that review.
And I have never seen anything that may feel like rubber on her whatsoever. Just putting that out there.
They're natural.
Yes.
Except for the pasties. Those thick-ass pasties, too.
I remember this. She came out for that. That was the...
Can you see my nipples?
Yeah, she goes, can you see my nipples? And then the whole time we're filming, one of them just kept sliding.
Yeah. Even though I had put, like, that glue.
Yeah.
Yeah, that adhesive glue on them. Just...
And so while
rearrange.
I'm trying to focus on a script that's below the camera. Out of the corner of my eye, I see her start doing this, and I'm going, okay. And so I would completely miss what I had to say while she's
trying
talking
to lean over and just slowly off camera pull my tit back into position.
But we never went 100%. You never went as far as Cinder did.
We didn't go full trauma.
We didn't go full trauma. Cinder did.
Yes.
With that Beast episode, which was funny for all different reasons. The behind the scenes was hysterical. The trying to get it filmed, and because it was being filmed in a bedroom, the script was on a mirror. And so
funny.
She's trying to read the script, and of course the way the bed was, the mirror was far enough away where she doesn't need glasses, and because I'm in a bed, I had my glasses off. I couldn't see it either.
Oh, no. Oh, that must have been ridiculous.
It was ridiculous. It was fun, but that was the most trauma we ever got. And I will admit, at one point, I was going to ask you to do something like that. But then when you'd either A, punch me, your person you were dating at the time, or now, would have punched me, or you would have sat there and gone, sure, and I would have turned 800 shades of red. And the funny part is I never got the courage because at that time was right around the time you were kind of done and burned out with everything.
Okay.
And I never wanted to ask you because you were tired and burned out.
Yeah.
And there for a while, all I would have to do is say, I'm just like, fuck you, Jerry. Okay. Yeah, well, I think my wife had a problem.
That.
No. Thought it.
Probably just, yeah.
Yeah, thought it. I think we only had one huge fight the entire time.
Wasn't that like via text message?
It was via text message, yeah. Because with my autism, I can't tell tone. And she can be sarcastic sometimes.
And if I don't put sarcasm.
And don't put sarcasm, or like anybody that texts me, if they don't put like
a sarcasm face.
Sarcasm face, or it's a joke, or something like that, I may not 100% understand. So I'm like,
or like
what?
the sticky tongue
Yeah.
emoji, yeah.
And so they're like, oh.
Why are you so upset?
Why are you so upset? Yeah. And I'm like, you're mad at me. What? No. Yeah, you said you hated me. No. No, I didn't. You put an emoji with an angry face.
What?
What?
Did
right?
I? Wait a minute.
Wait a minute.
Hold on.
Yeah.
Hold on.
Hold on.
Hold on.
So.
And then once we figured out there was some miscommunication with the
Miscommunication,
nonverbal thing and you not picking up on it, then we were both like...
Then we're both fine, yeah.
And I was like, remember when you got pissed at me?
So...
Because I didn't put sarcasm in quotes. Oh my gosh.
And she did go with us to a couple of horror hounds.
Oh yeah, that was fun.
The memory I'll never forget was meeting, I can't think of his name now. He was John Wayne's stunt double. He was also Jason.
I got so excited.
And we got to talk with him for a while.
Jason Voorhees stunt double, yeah.
Yeah.
Elderly man,
Yep.
Sweetest guy
Nice
ever.
guy. I think he's passed away. Because he was never going to do conventions
He said he
again.
remembered being in Stagecoach.
Yeah.
And I got so
She
excited
did.
because I had just done for my German class, I had to be a famous German person. So I, of course, picked Marlene Dietrich. And so I had my hair like short curled and bobbed like the way she would have it. And then I had to walk all the way from one side of campus to the other in like 5 minutes. So it all fell out.
Well, so what I remember about...
But I remember learning about Marlene and just being like a little starstruck that he worked with her.
Yes.
And being like, you worked with Marlene Dietrich? Oh yes, she was a splendid woman. And I'm like, trying not to be like,
and then you...
Trying not to fangirl over just the fact that he met Marlene back in the day.
And then what was really funny was Tom Atkins and her had the same phone.
Oh yeah, that's right.
And Tom Atkins, I'm pretty sure, was hitting on you. And what made it even funnier was...
I am so dense to people hitting on me, it's ridiculous.
Do you remember Tom... did you know anything Tom Atkins had been in at that point? Because I can't remember if you had... Because you're like, we have the same phone. I go, do you know who that was? Tom Atkins? I go, how do you know it? Sonny? Just above his name said Tom Atkins. What was he in? Well, according to that, he was in...
And now I know who he is,
you know.
of course.
I want to share one final thing at Horror Hound that I will never forget. Are you comfortable with me sharing behind the scenes of Horror Hound?
Oh, yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
So I was getting makeup on because I cosplay.
Oh, yeah.
She had gotten out of the shower. She goes, can you see? I go, not unless you're right in front of my face. And then you come closer to me. Are you sure? I'm like, if you come closer to me, I can see. Because you were getting dressed.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm like, don't come closer to me.
I always, after I entirely towel off, I put my hair up in the same towel. So I'm just butt naked.
Yeah, I saw, and all I could see was a vague shape. Like, I could see her hair.
Vague human wandering by.
And like, I can see the color of the hair, but I couldn't see anything else.
This.
Yeah. And
just that little halo of hair.
She was, Jamie was doing my, like, eyes and makeup and stuff, so I couldn't see anyway, but she's like, are you sure you can't see? I'm like, my eyes are being, like, mascara being put on, so I can't really see. And then when I could see, it was just vague shape of a person, which I thought was really fun. But we do 100% thank you for coming on the show. I appreciate all the time you've spent, and I've appreciated you so much for helping the show from the beginning, from helping me
get all
personally.
blushy because it's like, I don't do compliments.
Well, it's just that you helped me, and I want to say I helped you not just with the show, but personally.
Yeah.
And I feel like the show brought us closer, even though we may have hated each other at times.
Oh yeah. No. I remember you telling me, honestly, I'm pissed at you.
Yeah.
And it's like, No, I see why.
Right, yeah.
And I'm just like calm and like, no,
Yeah,
nope.
no, understand.
Nope, I understand. Thus the brother-sister thing. Like, we get mad at each other, but we still care about each other.
And hopefully she'll pop back up. Maybe a snack video. Maybe a full movie review.
I know one of my friends sent me some little Japanese star-shaped, like, pop rock candies.
Oh, yeah.
That I've just been hanging on. They're, like, sitting in a corner in my room because I'm like, Jerry wants, you need to try these.
Yeah, see, that's something that you guys may not know is for the snack show, we kind of hoard snacks. My wife and I do. So we go to, like, Target.
Okay.
And we go there once every few months. But we'll pick up, like, what new candy, or Walmart had the blueberry Kit Kat. Which was...
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so...
I've heard those were, like...
So, but we thank you guys, and we will see you next time. And I'll go to an outro by me, so... By me.
Yeah.
Let's throw me. Go to future me.
We're back, by the way.
Yeah, we're back.
Henrique Couto's Awkward Thanksgiving.
Yes.
Because it was one of those, we didn't quite know what we were going to watch when we turned it on, but we were both delighted and just happy that we actually watched it.
Yes.
And you ended up actually making a friendship with Henrique.
So the story behind that is I was friends with Henrique before.
Oh, okay.
So you may not know this story. There's a video game on PS4 called Friday the 13th.
Okay.
And I was introduced to a guy on there who was friends with him, and to this day, this group still gets together. Like, the day of filming this, we're getting together to play Evil Dead the game tonight.
Oh, yeah, the one that just
just came out.
Yeah.
So we played that, and I realized Henrique was a filmmaker, realized I owned a movie of his already. He had done Babysitter Massacre, and I had seen that, and I go, oh yeah, that's great. So I knew his horror stuff. Awkward Thanksgiving isn't horror.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Neither is Calamity Jane's Revenge or A Bulldog for Christmas.
Okay.
So after seeing his comedy, I go, oh, I want to see more comedies by him. Like Making Out was his other comedy, and Depression the Movie.
Okay.
And after seeing those, he is such a versatile filmmaker.
Oh, yeah.
And I
remember you had talked about the Babysitter one.
Yes.
And then you were like, we need to do Awkward Thanksgiving, and I'm like, I don't know what we're getting into, but you had liked him so much as a filmmaker, and you hadn't seen the film
I hadn't seen Awkward Thanksgiving at that point.
And we both sat down and went, the entire time we're filming, you're like, this is Planes, Trains, and Automobiles, only better. Planes, Trains, and Automobiles, only better.
And it really is. And it was a big influence on him because the same time I did that, or the year after, he did a picture with his best friend of Planes, Trains, and Automobiles. Like an entire pictorial.
Although, the scene in the diner with the salt.
With the salt.
Oh my god. Both of us were like,
yep.
This is so good, we can't look away, but we are freaked out because you can taste the salt. That entire scene, and the ketchup and everything they were shoving in their mouth. I'm like, someone's going to die at the end of this scene. Or somebody's going to need to just throw up at the end of it.
And instead, we just saw someone run naked in the next scene.
You know, it's like...
Yeah. And
I kind of wanted to see the behind the scenes for that scene, too.
Oh, we need to. Maybe not a review, but I have the making of.
Oh, nice.
Blu-ray
just,
of it.
Like, how many takes did they have to do just to get through that scene? With all the random things they were just eating. And
the making of is called Wishboner, which might still be available at henflix.com. So, no.
Ding!
Awkward Thanksgiving and Henrique Couto films were some of my favorite. I think one of the not worst ones, but some of the stuff we never got to. Like, the big Holy Grail, we still might, if you're up to it. We never did Showgirls.
We never did. We've referenced it.
We've referenced it so much and never did it.
Especially in our earlier stuff.
Right.
Oh my gosh, the amount of Showgirl references we did as a running gag.
And Showgirls 2, Pennies from Heaven. Oh god, that's terrible.
Then again, that was when we were going to do... Oh goodness. The one that our favorite redhead was in.
Jenny.
Yes. What was that?
Well, we did Vamps, Deadly Dream Girls.
Yes, Vamps.
We did that.
We referenced Showgirls
because Vamps.
So many times.
Oh,
and
gosh.
it's like, Vamps was another good one.
Yeah, and you just reminded me.
And the big poster you had, and I'm like,
yeah.
Jenny is very beautiful.
Yes.
Jenny, if you see this, you're very beautiful.
That reminded me.
And we had a blast with Vamps.
We had a blast with Vamps until
Yeah, until we went to do the filming and...
Well, what had happened, and this was weird to me, I'd never had this happen, the director, Mark, passed away. Yeah. You were having a party. Mm-hmm. And we drove to the party just to let her know. And that's the weirdest feeling I've ever had, because I knew Mark a little bit, I talked with him, but then having to tell somebody about this guy passing that we had we wrote the script and just not filmed it yet?
Yeah, we had the script entirely written out.
And we hadn't filmed it.
Yeah, or we hadn't edited it.
Or we hadn't edited it yet.
Because I remember we both came in and just sat down in our clothes like
a
day or two
later.
And just did the opening that's actually on the review.
Yeah, and that was one of the hardest ones just because it was so weird.
And we were so excited for the second one coming out too, because we were planning to review that one and it never manifested itself. Right?
No, I think it did, but there's a story.
Oh, okay.
But that's for a different time.
I mean the review.
Yeah, right,
the review never manifested, just because I think it just shocked us both.
Right.
With his sudden passing.
And then one of the other ones that we should probably talk about, because it was one of the first, this happened twice. RLJ Entertainment was amazing to us. Yes. Because they sent us All Cheerleaders Die. They loved our review.
That was such a fun review.
And they sent us Digging Up the Marrow.
Yes, that one was good. Oh, that was a surprising good one.
That was a really good one. And
there were so many films that we did where we're like, I don't know if this is going to be good or not, but let's put it in. And we both went, oh my God!
And then, surprisingly, there were some of them, too, that we put in and we're like...
I can't wait.
I can't wait. And then there's others where we put in and we're like...
Taxi goes to Japan.
Oh, God.
Or Big Bird goes to China. Yeah. Taxi goes to Japan.
That was... Oh, gosh.
That one was painful for us,
yeah.
But we had fun with it.
We did.
Because it's like, you know what, this is... You can tell it was a film that was done almost like with two directors or two scripts in mind. Because of that bigger budget.
It was, 2 and 3 were supposed to be one big movie.
Yeah.
So you could tell when it was supposed to cut. There were some dream ones that I wanted to do. We still might if she is comfortable with it, because these are films I would never do by myself. I think I tried doing Showgirls once, but I would rather do it with you.
Just to bounce
off of.
Yeah.
And if you wanted to do a skit, if you had time, we could do a little skit thing. Because we might do tiny skits beforehand.
An opening skit.
Closing skit, something like that. So Showgirls was one of them. Mad Dog Morgan was one of them.
Yes, that one.
And then there was one other one, and I can't remember what it was. But since she left, I have acquired so many movies.
Oh, yeah. And trying to just keep them straight, too.
Straight, yes.
Because we'd get very, like, let's plan this stuff, and then it just would fall through.
But I think you have a bit more free time now.
Yes.
So maybe
we can...
A less stressful job, so maybe we can get together, and hopefully this won't only be for camera stuff, because I'd love to just hang out with you in person, because you're an awesome person.
Aww.
So.
Stop it. Now I'm going to start doing this. I got a hood on this, by the way.
I see that.
Hang it over my chopsticks and just do
And now you look kind of like an alien.
And this is the rest of the interview.
There you go.
This is how I'm doing it. Good job.
All right. So that's the end of the interview.
I'm going to take it off my head. So anyways, we're done now.
We're done. So, all right. Well, thank you again. And we will, hopefully, she will see you guys soon.
And thank you, Henrique, for that sleeper hit that we really loved, Opry Thanksgiving. Because quite honestly, it was like, no, we need a refilm to put this into the documentary. Because quite honestly, that was such a good film.
That was such a great film. So, thank you, Henrique.
And we're back. So, thank you, Adalynne, for coming back and doing this, being part of this documentary. And then, as she said, personal things happened in the interview. And so I started a new, I don't want to say scout, but that's the best word I can describe. So I started to look for new people. That's where Cinder came in. Here with Cinder, whom you may remember, or you may also remember these. So, how did you get started with the show?
Well, we've been good friends for ever, pretty much, and you asked me if I wanted to participate in your show, and I said yes, and that's how I came onto the show, and had all that fun and everything else.
And well, one of the things that this show did for me is it actually got me to reconnect with her after being friends for so long.
Yes.
we had kind of grown apart, but this brought us back together, and I'm very, very grateful for that.
Me too.
So, did you have a favorite episode? If you can remember any of them.
I don't know. I just had so much fun doing it. Even though it took us a lot of like retakes, because we get together and we get kind of silly, and I would forget what I was supposed to say or what I was supposed to do.
Or the Beast episode.
Or there were just some episodes I couldn't keep a straight face because it was just too funny, because it's like a brother-sister relationship. So trying to be romantic or interested in you in that way was sometimes hilarious and funny. So
yeah. Now, what are you doing now in the vaguest terms possible?
Right.
So you don't reveal where.
I am going to school. I actually graduate from community college this summer, and then I go to a 4-year university for my bachelor's degree in history. And I've had a baby since then, so I have 3 kids, and going through a divorce and making it through life.
And that's one of the reasons she left, was because she was doing school and having a child. You didn't leave because you had it. You know what I'm trying to say.
We found out I was pregnant. I was also working and
school.
Yes, in school and everything else. So too much going on, and couldn't keep track of it all, and schedule. Bad timing.
So thank you so much for doing this.
Oh, no
I love you.
problem. I love you. Mwah.
Always will. All right. After Cinder, we had Raven. Through some of the cast members of the show and find out how they got involved and all that. So let's begin with, how did you get involved?
You harassed me until I said yes.
Was that really what happened? I don't remember anymore.
No, you just kept asking and asking, and I finally had a moment where I'm like, yeah, sure, fine. Sure, I'll come in, I'll do an episode or 2. But yeah, that's kind of how it happened.
And then that in turn led into, I believe that led into the 3-year arc of Hellraiser, where we filmed those, I think, back to back to back.
We did indeed, back to back to back, because it is very hard for me to get out of my home life. So we just took the whole day. I had my Hellraiser t-shirt on. We just did all of it back to back. So we could just
breeze through it.
Breeze through.
And the funny part about that is I had filmed them and then I edited them and scheduled them to come out a year apart. So when Hellraiser 3 came out, I completely forgot I had done that. So it came out and I'm like, when the hell did I do that? And I'm like, oh, it was like 3 years ago that I scheduled it to come out.
That's why I look so young for each one.
So, why did you not end up on the show more?
As I've stated before, it's very hard for me to leave my home life. I do have a full-time job. I have a kid at home. It's very, very difficult for me to get out.
Now, do you have a favorite episode of the, you did 4, 5, 6,
Oh, that's a tough one.
Because there's one that sticks out in my mind.
I really don't think I have a favorite.
For me, all of them are good. My favorite was Elvira. But part of that is behind the scenes stuff you're not going to hear. Part of it is because it was just a fun experience. You good?
That was a very traumatic day. I don't know who was more traumatized, you or me.
So, that one stuck out, and then the Hellraiser one stuck out, but more than anything that stuck out with this was just getting to hang out with my friend and becoming closer with people. You may notice that when I interviewed the cast, that one of my favorite things was people I hadn't talked to in years, like Cinder, Violet, if she does one. We reconnected over this. And here I felt like it made Raven and I closer than what we had been, to the point that
I consider her now to be one of my closer and best friends than when we first started.
I'm gonna cry.
Oh, I'm sorry. I don't know why I said that. So to round things off, what are you doing now that your Raven Lenore life is... Your Raven Lenore pantyhose are being hung up? I don't know what to say. I just said pantyhose. I don't know what. Bra, no. Hat. I don't know. You know what I mean.
The garments.
The garments.
The garments. I am still working a full-time job. I right now am trying to get an art page off the ground, which is taking actually a lot longer than I anticipated it would. I'd like to at some point sell prints, mugs, shirts of my art. Because I gave up the tattoo idea long time ago.
So, and with that, before we let her go, will we see you on any of these snack shows?
Depends on what you bring.
Alrighty. So there you have it. Possibly coming back for a snack show. Possibly not. Who knows? But thank you to Raven for her time.
Thank you very much to the fans. It's been a lovely run.
She lives about an hour and a half from where I'm at. So it was hard to get her here after Cinder left. We tried to get more people, and then it was a combination of Cinder, Adalynne, and Raven, who all said, you should try doing it on yourself. Try doing an episode by yourself. You should do an episode by yourself. And I never wanted to do it because I was too afraid. I was afraid to do an episode by myself because I hadn't done it yet. I always had somebody to bounce stuff off of, and that's what I was comfortable doing. So eventually, out of necessity, I started to do stuff on my own. But I always tried to get people back because I enjoyed working with them, and I'm pretty sure they enjoyed working with me, so I tried to get everybody back on various specials and all that. So once I realized, so I started going along with Mr. Cheeseball Reviews, and then finally I took a look and went, I don't know if that's what it needs to be anymore, because reviewing has changed since I started. I started in 2013. Technically, 2012 is when I got the idea and I was interviewing people. 2013 is when I actually started. At this point, it was, I think, about 2020. It was either 2019 or 2020, and I'm going, I've been doing this quite a while in the format of adding clips, plus YouTube was flagging stuff that by people who weren't even the people who owned the rights, because I had that happen 2 times I had 2 different ones. One was so bad that I actually had to get a lawyer involved. The other one was just a band who, whenever I was using their stuff, I would be told that this company owns it, not the band. I got that solved, but it was every time I was uploading something. So that's when I went, okay, I'm not going to do it this way. I'm going to cut clips out, plus the style of reviewing of that guy with the glasses and Channel Awesome, Nostalgia Critic and all that, of using clips, was kind of dying anyway. So I went to Scary Jerry Reviews, where it was just me sitting in front of a camera watching a movie. Well, not watching the movie on camera, but watching the movie, discussing it afterwards. I slowly realized that movies weren't fun to me anymore. I was having a heck of a time watching them. Like, my wife would want to watch one for fun, and I would sit there and be bored because I was watching so many movies that, honestly, they all ran together, and then once that happened, I go, you know what, I'm just watching the first 15 minutes of the movie, nobody will know. And I'm pretty sure people did. But even that started to be not fun. So that's when I went, you know what, I'm going to do the final Scary Jerry's review, and I'm going to try to get Adalynne back, because she is the driving force that helped the show reach to where it was. So it'd be nice if she ended it with me. And she came back, she ended it. That review should be out by now. What's going on now? And is that I have switched. You may notice that there's very few movie reviews. There's still unboxings. I still love unboxings. And I have switched to doing snacks. So on YouTube, I try to get a preview of my Patreon snack show. On Patreon, for $1, you can pay and I'll try a number of snacks. On YouTube, I try, the limit I think is 2 or 3, and that's it. Where on Patreon, it can sometimes be 4, 5, and 6. So, 3 on YouTube. Patreon, you get more bang for your buck. And Patreon, if you pay a little higher, I will try a spicy snack. So, once I switched to doing snack videos, movies became fun again. So if Adalynne has an idea and wants to come back and do a movie, I'll do it with her. If Raven has an idea, I'll do it with her. But I'm not beholden to my schedule. I'm not beholden to watching a movie once a week and trying to get episodes out for a Friday or every other Friday and digging through all that. Movies have become fun again as there's a shadow. I think my wife just walked by. But after switching to snacks, movies became 100% fun again. So know that movie-related reviews will be few and far between. This is now going to be mostly trying snacks. I find that much more fun. I'm going to have to figure out a new way to do it while I'm on my diet. So I want to thank everybody who listened to this story, everybody who watched, and let people know that you can succeed. And it is the only downside though is that it is very hard to maintain success. I made a lot of connections that I'm very grateful for. If it wasn't for my YouTube channel, I never would have met the people who put out Space Babes from Outer Space, or Jenny, or the people involved with Bloodsucker Jones. So I do 100% appreciate everybody that's ever helped this channel and watched it when I did movie reviews. Hopefully you'll stick around for snack reviews. And I want to thank everybody involved with this documentary. So stay safe. And for the final time, stay spooky, stay scary, take care, and we'll see you for snacks.